Commence primary ignition.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Life at Light Speed podcast. My name is Colin, and we got a special guest. Super quick. Go ahead. Yep, that way. There we go.
Ted, aka Steady with the Countdown to the Gigs. What's going on, sir?
Nothing much, and we are here to break down the new trailer for Maul Shadow Lord. This is a highly anticipated show. It is also the same animation style as the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Underworld, Tales of the Empire, just all of the tales. And what's super exciting about this is that the show takes place 1 year after the events of the Clone Wars series, and we have an official date for this, which is April 6th. This is coming out on April 6th, which is super exciting. And I think they did it early because they didn't want to, coincide with how crazy May will be with the Mandalorian and Grogu. And I think getting Star Wars before like a other big Star Wars project is such a great call because it just hypes people up even more. And not only that, there's a prequel comic. I believe it's out now, right? Or it's coming soon for the show. So stay tuned for that. But as always, big shout out to the Virtual Cantina Network. They are an amazing group. We have a lot of events coming up this year. Go and check out that. The website is virtualcantinanetwork.com. Also, go check out the Rebel ScumCon because that is also going to be coming out this year as well in August. So go and get your tickets now. There will be guests being announced throughout the year leading up to it. So many great things. But yeah, Ted, how's everything going?
Everything is going good. And then I also add, I think the timing with the release of the show also coincides with May the 4th. They wanted that finale to drop on Star Wars Day. And so in order to do so, they're dropping 2 episodes for the premiere and then 1 episode every week. And it lines up perfectly with the finale on May the 4th.
I was going to say, hang on. Yeah, because wow, it's on a Monday this year. May 4th is on a Monday. That's wild. Wait, so episodes are dropping on Mondays? Wow. Yeah, they are. Wow, that's weird. We've never had that before. But that makes sense because May 4th is on a Monday. So that's probably why they wanted to do it. That makes sense. Wow.
Yeah, 2 episode premiere and then 2 episodes every week thereafter with the finale dropping on May the 4th.
Okay. And this is official. Did this come from stars.com?
Came from stars.com.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, let's break down the trailer because I'm very excited. I know all of you are excited. Thank you all who are hopping on the live stream to join us and talk about it. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I'm so excited. So fun fact, they actually did show a trailer over at Star Wars Celebration. It is very different than this trailer that we got. There are some similar things, but it is different for the most part, which I'm just glad it's just not a copy and paste, but here we go. So, we start the trailer by going into a city-type planet. It's not confirmed if it's Coruscant. It's not confirmed if it's Nar Shaddaa. Stars.com just dropped an article, I believe, so they might drop more details, but as of right now, we don't know if it is that. Ted, can you keep up with that on the site just to make sure?
Apparently, it's just called Janix.
Janix. Perfect.
Yeah. So not Coruscant.
Okay, good.
Looks similar.
Yeah.
Have changed.
And this takes place 1 year after the events of the Clone Wars. So we know that the galaxy is kind of in a reboot at this point. We know that he is on the run from the Empire, and is in hiding, and the underworld is scarce.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
From a new perspective.
Okay, so on this shot, we're in 20 seconds into the trailer. We have the Pike Syndicate. They're wearing armor I believe we have not seen, which is very cool. And I'm really glad that we're sticking with this original animation, just because it's just beautiful. And then we have two characters that look like are Jedi that survived Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
Always running.
I believe we don't have their names yet.
I invite you to look more closely.
What are we dealing with?
Good question.
Okay.
I
Now,
for you.
this shot where Maul is walking off the ship, this is actually a direct scene from what they showed over at Star Celebration. Yep.
Maul.
That's like a classic Star Destroyer. That's fantastic.
We have all been made to suffer. We survive. But do not live.
So this character right here that was holding the stick and looks to be like a lizard creature. I don't think they're Trandoshan. It could be a cross species of Trandoshan. I could be mistaken. It hasn't been released yet. But we know they're Jedi because they just use the Force there.
Yep.
And then so this shot in particular right here of where we have a Sith Inquisitor jumping down. So this Sith Inquisitor on the 1 minute 19 mark. This is the same Inquisitor that we see in Tales of the Jedi,
Right.
when Ahsoka encounters them over at the farm, and then she takes him out as well. And he was voiced by Clancy Brown, which is super cool.
Awesome.
And then we also see him for a split second in Tales of the Empire as well, when Barriss Offee is being inducted as a Sith Inquisitor as well. Now, he lands right next to the other Sith Inquisitor, which is Marok, and he was seen in
Ahsoka.
He was mainly seen in Ahsoka, and he was defeated by Sabine. So these are two characters that we have seen before. During this time, I think there might be a lot of crossover potential opportunity, just because, this is happening on the same events of the Bad Batch. So there's a chance we could see Ventress pop up. We could see characters like in the very early stages from Jedi Fallen Order as well. There's a lot of different crossover stuff that we could see happening in the show. I don't think it will go too crazy with that, because we know that we're going to want to focus on Maul. So it is cool to see these characters pop up, though. But so we know the Emperor knows that he's alive,
Right.
and that he's on the run right now. And they've sent these two Inquisitors after him. And I think that he is going to turn that Twi'lek, who was a former Jedi, into like his potential apprentice, because he wants to even the score, and kind of even the playing field.
And we have her name. Her name is Devin.
Devin. Okay. There were rumors and theories that was going to be Darth Tylon. I'm kind of glad that they didn't do that, because that character didn't exist in the timeline yet, because in the comics, I believe she was way further. away in the timeline, so I was curious on how they would make that work. But who knows? They could change that, but only time will tell. So I'm really excited to see, of all the new places that we'll be going to, and just a shot alone of where he throws the lightsaber.
That is awesome.
Oh, sick.
And it looks like he actually kills Marok at that point in that shot. That's who he's fighting, right?
Yeah. I mean, hang on. Stand by.
Can be shattered.
That's Marok.
Ooh.
Unless they switch the scene to make it look like it's Marok and it's somebody else.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. That could be very misleading.
Can be shattered.
Coming up. He's coming in. Okay. No, okay, so I just paused it. It was a misleading shot because that golden armor is the same one that the Pikes were using. So that is not Marok.
Yeah. Look at that.
Look at us catching stuff, guys.
Look at that.
Yeah. So that is not Marok getting killed. They just wanted to tie shots in together. We've seen that through different trailers that they have released in the past, and it's just common practice to kind of mislead the audience, so it makes you guessing until the actual show comes out. So that makes total sense that they would do that, but that was kind of sneaky of them.
Very sneaky,
because you would not know unless you kind of paused. Yeah.
And it wouldn't make a lot of sense because Marok shows back up in Ahsoka, so why they would have to try to explain that, but
yeah. And I mean, there's still a lot of mystery revolving around that character because when Sabine does take him out, there's this green mist that kind of pops out, and there's been theories that there was some type of resurrection from the Night Sisters on Dathomir. Something revolved around that, so maybe we could find the origin of why he turned into green mist at that point in Ahsoka throughout the show. But also, it's not Marok because we see a blaster holster as well on his right hip.
Right.
When Darth Maul takes this pike out. So, but yeah, I am very, very excited about the show. There's so much to look forward to.
I invite you to look more closely.
And I just love, how he's casually drinking tea throughout the trailer as well. It's just, because where we left Maul in this too, it was, if there's comments, sorry guys, I'm playing catch up here. Yes, the animation is amazing. The poster that they just shared on Instagram is awesome. Gonna have to check that out. Yeah, absolutely beautiful trailer. Where we left Maul 2 after the Clone Wars is a very interesting place in time, and I think that during that year gap, I think Maul had to kind of recollect himself because the last point where we saw him, Ahsoka almost cut his head off on that Venator that was crashing into the planet at the end of season 7 of the Clone Wars. So in a way, Maul kind of, I think his mindset going into this is going to be maybe potentially he feels not defeated, but kind of set back. And also at the end of season 7, we know he was talking to the different crime syndicates because he was talking to, Dryden Voss, and the Black Sun Clan, and a bunch of the different underworld crime syndicates when it was right before the end of the Siege of Mandalore. So I'm really curious of maybe the crime syndicates thought that he was dead, and then he has to like kind of prove that, you know, he can climb back on top. And I think that's what he's going to do throughout the show. And I think he's going to use this no pun intended, but this Jedi survivor to kind of help him kind of get back on top. And I think he might use her. I could see her potentially turning to the dark side, but also just not full dark side. I think she'll still have a connection to the light in some way. But it's going to be really interesting. And again, there is crossover potential. What are your thoughts on the trailer and just the plot for the show in general?
It looks action packed, which is what you want, right? That's Maul in his element. He is chaos, controlled chaos. Sam Witwer sounds like better than he ever has.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he's just sunken more and more into the psyche of Maul the more he plays him. And we've heard Sam do the voice in person before, so that's always exciting. And the fact that he's talking to this new character, Devin Izara, throughout the trailer kind of leads you to believe he's still searching for that apprentice. Not only does he kind of want her help, but he probably does not feel like he is either whole or that he has achieved anything until he himself becomes a master. It's almost like he's looking for some sort of not acceptance, but just this achievement for himself, and that's why he's going after this Order 66 survivor. More Jedi out there, all over the place. But I'm glad they're taking us to a new planet. Expanding on Star Wars lore is never a bad thing.
No.
And they have a ton of fantastic voice actors. Vanessa Marshall is in this. Wagner Mora, who is he just won a Golden Globe, and he's I think he's nominated for an Oscar for best lead in a film. So Wagner he's fantastic. He's one of my new favorite actors right now.
That's great.
Yeah, Dennis Haysbert is in here as Master Iko Diodaki. Any ideas who that might be?
Of the character or the actor?
The character.
How do you spell it?
EEKO dash DIO dash DA.
Okay. I think that is the character with the cane. Because it says, because their title is Master. And I think the character Devin is their apprentice. So
and he has one of the most recognizable voices out there. He's the old Allstate guy. So his booming voice
gosh, that's crazy.
Is going to be so like prolific in this series, and I can't wait to see what he does with it. But yeah, everyone's going to know exactly who that is as soon as they hear him talk. So yeah.
I also love how David Collins is playing a other droid known as Spybot. So really curious of what that will be like. We have Star Wars Rebels alumni Steve Bloom is returning to the Star Wars universe, but he's returning as Icarus, and he's also doing Zeb for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So
wow,
he's been busy, for the Star Wars universe for sure. So they kind of dive more into the planet of Janix, and this is from the article over at StarWars.com. It's one part Gotham, one part Metropolis, and 100% Star Wars with all these different layers and levels. It's a city essentially built into a creator on this planet that is untouched by the Empire. It's got a functioning democracy, a law enforcement doing a good job for policing their own community. It's a rich environment for crime and gangsters. But so far, there's been a very peaceful accord between all of them in the interest of business. That kind of sounds familiar to the Book of Boba Fett, of that last part of saying, of how there's been kind of this peaceful accord, because for the most part there was, until Boba killed Bib Fortuna, and then there was like a power grab. But yeah, and then in addition to the crime syndicates and Maul's undoubtedly underhanded dealings on Janix, the series will incorporate the bridge-going Empire in the period of a few short years after Order 66. Okay. So we'll incorporate the... Okay, so it looks like there might be some time jumps in the show, because we knew that the show was going to take place 1 year after the events of Order 66. So it sounds like there might be a time jump then, because I was curious about the full-out Star Destroyer that we saw in that one shot, because they didn't have the full Star Destroyers until later on. And we also haven't been confirmed if we are getting a season 2. So, yeah, should be interesting. With appearances by Marak, who first appeared in Ahsoka season 1, and the Inquisitorius. The Empire is constellating the galaxy from the core worlds, and the I'm going to mispronounce that. Sorry, guys. And the Inquisitors is stronger than ever. They're hunting Jedi and the Force users, doing all kinds of nasty work. The galaxy at large is sort of dealing with the slow rise in the Empire, and different groups have different understandings of what the Empire is. The same thing goes for the Inquisitors. They're secret mercenaries that show up out of the darkness. Darth No More, cast aside by his Sith master Darth Sidious, forged from the fire of the Clone Wars. Maul, Shadow Lord, reintroduces Maul as we've never seen him before. We are having the best time working with Sam Witwer, of course, because he's amazing. He brings so much depth to the character of Maul with his knowledge of Star Wars. He's been a really awesome collaborator to keep Maul authentic for us. One moment from the trailer sees Maul taking part in a tea ceremony, a moment of calm contemplation for a character usually known for ferocious combat. Were all of us, including Sam, surprised at the new facets that we're finding in Maul on the show, which we're sure the fans are going to be delighted with. Art director Andre Kirk and Rao worked together to design the tea scene. There is a moment in the animation where Maul is conducting a tea ceremony with Devin, and you can see the nuances in Maul's performance that Sam Witwer learned while he attended an actual tea ceremony in Japan.
Wow.
That's really cool. Witwer was also instrumental in introducing the new cast as the galaxy to the galaxy, as Devin Gideon Alden brings the sense of grounded reality that the show needs in the best way, Ross says. Devin is a young person who's living through challenging times and realizes that the future she thought she was going to have is no longer possible. She has to adapt. She's conflicted between right and wrong, but there's a level of innocence too. When you see her in the booth with Sam, it's like you're seeing Maul and Devin interacting together. He's teaching her things alongside Matt and Brad on the lore of Star Wars, and that's what the character is all about. And it goes into the casting that we just talked about. But Star Wars Maul, Shadow Lord is created by Dave Filoni, based on Star Wars characters created by George Lucas. The series is developed by Dave Filoni and Matt. I'm going to mispronounce the name. I'm sorry, guys. I do have a speech impediment. I don't know if everyone knows this. Mitch Novets. Brad Rao is a supervising director. The executive producers are Dave Filoni, Athena Yvette Portillo, Matt. Oh, man, these are strong names. Brad Rao, Carrie Beck, and Josh Rhimes. and Alex Spotswoods is the co-executive producer. How far will Maul's quest for revenge take him? Find out when Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord premieres on Disney Plus, April 6th, 2026. So yeah, there's the article. I am very, very excited for the show. I think a lot of people are as well. There's a lot to look forward to. So yeah, very, very.
I was looking up Gideon because I want to see what she's done in the past, and she's got some kind of big projects she's a part of. She's in, I think, the most recent Euphoria show, which I've never seen any seasons of Euphoria, but I guess she's in the most recent season. And then she actually looks like she had a small part in Star Wars Jedi Adventures as Pac uh, Relda. So she's not a newcomer to the Star Wars universe. And then she's also done a lot of other voice acting work with like DC. She's voiced Batgirl in the past. Um, Barbara Gordon, of course. Some other shows, Terminator, Pacific Rim. So she's got a really good track when it comes to voice acting, and I'm excited to see what this character does. It almost makes me want to see Maul succeed in gaining an apprentice because it happens so few often.
Yeah.
We saw with Anakin, and it sort of rarely happens after that. It was something that they were going to do in the Acolyte. Um, don't know if
Yeah.
you wanted to say they got all the way to completing that apprenticeship. It looked like they were going to, and I don't. I want to see that happen because it happens so few times in these stories. And I'm really eager to see what that could look like, especially with Maul as a master. What does a Sith Lord who has been jaded by the Empire, what is his style of teaching? What is his mantra? What does he
So
believe in now? And that's what will
so
be
yeah.
fascinating.
So we kind of saw his teaching style with Savage in the Clone Wars. And then he was trying to do that with Ezra and Rebels, and it was short lived just because the fact that um uh that we got the ending that we did. If you're watching this and you haven't seen Rebels, go watch Rebels. But we
Oh, yeah.
know what his fate is.
Yeah.
And the fact that we get more lore on Maul, even though that we know what happens to him, is very, very cool. And Sam Witwer loves this character. He loves Star Wars so much. So I can't wait for them to dive more into what this character is. Just because the fact that that Maul has been around for over 20 years, and then the Clone Wars reintroduced him was just phenomenal. And the original plan that George Lucas actually had was for his sequels that Maul was actually going to be the main villain in that in the in his trilogy.
Wow.
So it is really interesting that we keep getting Maul in the most awesome way because he is such a diverse character, and there are some moments where I think fans are kind of rooting for Maul to succeed because Sam Witwer has brought so much to that character. So I can't wait to see where the show goes, and I hope we end up getting a season 2.
Yeah. It's going to be, Maul gaining the power, gaining the prestige that we know he eventually does obtain because we see him in Solo, and I think Solo is still canon. So I'm hoping that we see him transcend, and we see a huge arc for him throughout this show. By everything that we're reading about and by the trailer itself, it looks action packed. It's being described as a very fast paced story, by some of the producers, and I think that is welcoming for fans. We don't see that too often, and that's okay. Star Wars is a very sort of take your time, sort of evolve type of format, but to see something that's either fast paced, action packed, I think that'll be a welcoming change, and I think fans will appreciate that. I know I will. So the animation looks great. The action in the trailer looks great. Maul looks better than ever. Sounds incredible. Thanks to Sam, and just can't wait. 10 episodes is a good amount. Six
Yes.
would have been too little. 8 would have been satisfactory. 10 feels like okay, they really found something here, and they
Yeah.
have a story that's worth telling.
They also haven't announced how long the episodes are going to be. My guess is probably around that half-hour timeline.
Yeah, I'd say
It
20-25 minutes each,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, and I don't th I mean, it's I loved growing up with the Clone Wars because every Friday after school, I would go home and I would just wait until that, 7 PM time frame. I Yeah, I think it was around 7, and I would just be waiting for that episode to drop at school. I'd be waiting and anticipating that episode all day long, and it's super exciting to have that feeling again because, it was awesome to do that with, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, of the Bad Batch, Obi-Wan Kenobi, so it's awesome that we're gonna have that feeling again, and specifically with this animation, every single episode that comes out in this animation, like the animation just gets more like it's so good, and they've just perfected it over the years even more. And I think the last one, it was Tales of the Underworld, is just the different landscapes are just absolutely incredible in this animation style. So I can't wait for them to explore more of that in the show. So I'm very, very excited for it. The show comes out on April 6th, and it will lead up to uh May 4th. It's gonna be real interesting
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's gonna be dropping on Mondays. So that's a new one. I don't think they've ever done any shows on Mondays. They've done them on Tuesdays, but they've never done them on Mondays. So yeah,
They're probably trying to get away from other things coming out, they wanna own something, so
yeah,
days are so rare for new content, so yeah, own Mondays, why don't you?
yeah. The other thing too is that we didn't talk about it yet. So there is a Mandalorian that Maul does talk to in this trailer for like a quick second. She was in the comics. She was also in season 7 of the Clone Wars. The theory is that that's actually the armorer from the Mandalorian.
Mm.
So we actually and that character is voiced by Vanessa Marshall. So we might get an actual confirmation on that officially if that character is actually the armorer. It'd be very cool to see. But yeah, cannot wait. That's really it for this trailer. I'm going to be filming a Easter eggs video, and I'm going to be posting that on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram shortly. So stay tuned for that. Probably within the next hour or so. I'm always hard at work because I'm doing also the one fact a day for the Mandoverse facts. I write scripts for these, so it's just been a lot of work. How have you been liking those so far, by the way?
They've been fantastic, and I kinda wait for them every day now, so I make sure, wait for them, I make sure and spread the
Yeah,
information and the knowledge out there, and I think they're a huge hit, man.
yeah,
It's a lot of work, I can tell that it is a lot of work that you're doing right now, so yeah. But yeah, they've
yeah.
been pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so much doing this because I am doing this for fun because I love the Mandalorian and I love the behind the scenes facts. And then this next fact I'm doing, I'm going to be dropping it later today. I filmed it. I was just waiting for the trailer for this because I wanted to kind of have them kind of spread out. But this fact coming up, I'm really excited about because there is a kind of a intertwined between two franchises that I love dearly. So if people who are watching and know me very well, you know what franchise I'm probably talking about. But yeah, so I can't wait to drop that fact. But yeah, Ted, is there any upcoming stuff for Countdown City Geeks that you want to talk about? I know there were just a bunch of announcements from SpaceCon.
Yeah,
That's
no,
coming up, which is super cool.
you already know because you've been there before. SpaceCon is arguably one of the best, if not the best, conventions in the country, for the sole reason that they're able to bring some of the biggest names in entertainment, and it still feels like a small convention. It doesn't feel like this overwhelming, massive event. We're still able to kind of help make it feel very personable and attend to everyone's experiences. So SpaceCon, which is happening in June this year, go to SpaceCon SA for more information. We just announced a few days ago Jimmy Smits. Jimmy, who's been in several Star Wars films and projects. He's going to be making a very rare appearance at
Yeah.
this event, and he'll be alongside some of his prequel friends, Ian McDermott, and of course the chosen one himself, Hayden Christensen. So if you want to be in the right place, the center of the Star Wars galaxy in June, head on to SpaceCon this summer, and the one of the most highly regarded duo photo ops ever. The chosen one and the Emperor, Ian and Hayden, in the same photo. I mean, that's going to be the biggest ticket item, I'm pretty sure, for that entire
Yeah.
event.
100%. Yeah. I love that con so much. I think about that con a lot, and it's so cool that every single year it just gets larger and larger. So this year will be a lot of fun. Super excited for this one.
And along with the Jimmy Smits announcement, Giancarlo Esposito is making his 4th appearance. There's not he should just move here now because he's just here every year and no complaints at all. Literally one of the best celebrities to meet at any event. He's so personable, he's so down to earth, but he has the charisma of 10 men. He's just a joy to be around and just an amazing individual. And so Giancarlo is making his return to San Antonio, as well as Ivana Sakno. She is coming back for her 2nd appearance, and I know fans are really excited to see her again, especially with season 2 of Ahsoka wrapping up and dropping later this year, I think.
It's
not
still
been announced.
It's not officially been announced. At first, so they kind of, at one point, Disney had like all the shows that were coming out this year, and at one moment Ahsoka season 2 was not listed on there, but then recently it was. So I think there's still confusion, but I'm waiting for an official announcement from Lucasfilm and Disney, and we should probably learn more soon. But yeah,
I feel like the production's wrapped. So if production is wrapped, then 6 months maybe of post production for a show like this. I'm kind of hoping for like a December release. Kind of feels like it's the right thing to do. So maybe a November or December release would be fantastic. But we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll surprise us and drop it a little earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I think having Star Wars spread out through the year, I think that would be good, especially because Ahsoka season 2 is probably one of the most anticipated shows coming out to date, just because of how many unresolved storylines that happened in season 1. We were left on a literal cliffhanger of where we had Balin Skull on that statue, just kind of looking off into the distance of what probably is going to be a portal to the world between worlds, and stuff going on with Thrawn. Like, he is back now in the main galaxy. What's going on with that? Will he make some type of appearance in the Mandalorian and Grogu? Who knows? So there's a lot of high stakes that will be happening in Ahsoka season 2, and I think there is just going to be a lot to look forward to and kind of uncertainty. So yeah, cannot wait for that show.
Especially Rory McCann as Balin in the season, who Rory is a huge fan favorite from Game of Thrones as the Hound. So just to see what he does with this character and how he honors the late Ray Stevenson is just going to be tremendous. I think that's enough to keep fans invested emotionally into the second season. Is just seeing that baton being handed off and seeing what Rory can do with this role and all the mystery surrounding Balin's character and his motivations. I think that'll be fantastic to find out.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think that's it for now. We're back this Friday because we just got back from our trip from Disney, and Brooke is feeling better, so she will be here for a full episode. Even though Ted, I appreciate you every time that you've been coming on. But yeah, so she is very excited to come on. We'll definitely be talking about the new trailer for Maul. My wife also so I'm not sure if you know this, but she has kind of went to crash course and she fully out studied all of the Arabish. So now when she goes to the parks and all that stuff, she doesn't need a data pad. She just knows it. And it's been so cool to see that. And when the trailer just dropped, she paused on that scene where it shows Maul on that wanted poster, and she was like, I know exactly of what that says, and she told me, and I'll be breaking down exactly what it says in the breakdown. But yeah, so
yes, that's so cool.
Yeah, so
learn a new language is what she did.
Right, yeah, absolutely insane. And our love for Star Wars has no bounds. So
there you go.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Ted, thank you so much for coming on. From myself, Life at Lightspeed, and Virtual Cantina Network, may the Force be with you forever and always.